Hi everyone, this is Anthony,
And this is Doug.
and this is PopGamer. And today we are here with the lovely Jennifer Hale. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Jennifer is the female voice of Commander Shepard in the Mass Effect series and in Mass Effect 3 coming out March 6th.
Mm-hmm.
And how's that going? How's everything been going for you?
It's fantastic. It's incredibly busy right now between work and then the Mass Effect 3 launch and work and work. It's really busy right now. It's great. It's great. Yeah.
Great. What are you doing while you're doing the Mass Effect 3 promotions?
A lot of interviews like this, and then I'll be at Universal City Walk on Monday and Monday evening, just popping in and out between work for the BioWare launch with the David Silverman and the whole, PR team, and just a lot of interviews. And then I'm working on several other things right now, so it's keeping me pretty busy.
What would you say was the biggest part of this project? Would you say this is the biggest project you've worked on to date? Now we know you were Naomi in Metal Gear as well, which I'm a huge fan of.
Good.
So, and there's a lot of dialogue in that game. How does Mass Effect compare?
Much more dialogue. Much more. I think in 3, Mark and I has somewhere around 7,000 lines, I think, which is just a crazy volume of lines. And if you think about what the producers and director have to deal with, that's just me, and they have so many people with similar volume of lines. It's just insane. So yeah, this volume-wise, biggest thing, absolutely. And in terms of the length of the job, I mean, Metal Gear certainly covered a number of years, but starting from the first game that I recorded to the last one that I've done, this one has spanned maybe not quite as many years, but it's much more intense in volume and just so intense, and
Right.
Being the commander is different than being, a doctor as part of the plot line. Really having the weight of the universe on your shoulders is a very different thing,
So with that volume, the volume of lines and the intensity that you're just speaking of, how do you really get into the role of being Commander Shepard?
I think it's in my bones by now, but
Just automatic.
right. Well, for me, it comes straight out of the writing. It's all in the writing, and it was all there. And of course, with the guidance of, on the first 2, Ginny McSwain and Chris Borders, and on the third one, Caroline Livingstone, just invaluable and just such a joy to work with everybody. It was tremendous. And having that guidance and that sort of captain at the helm of the ship really makes a huge difference. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now,
it's a lot of instinct too. It's sort of just using your common sense about, okay, what's going on? Who is this person? How do they get what they want? Like, Commander Shepard, military, not a lot of emotion is allowed to, it's being felt, but it does not come out. But I will say that in 3, we've taken the lid off a little bit. You get to see a little bit more of Commander Shepard, the human being.
Now, I've heard about that, and what is your feeling on, I understand when it comes to the relationship side of things too. Now, I played through, in Mass Effect 2, I played through as male and then female as well. Yes.
That was my question.
Of course, of
We
course.
don't go any further unless you had a round of femme shep. But
Of course, no, definitely, and that's always kind of the inside line is make sure you play through as on a lot of the fan sites and things like that. Make sure you play through as femshep. But with the relationships now, we understand there's going to be it was female with female, male with male. What's your take on that? How do you feel about that kind of genre breaking?
oh, I think it's tremendous. I think it's the world we live in, and everybody needs a home. Everybody needs a story they can relate to. It's one of the things I've done just a couple of conventions, and I've been really struck by people coming up to me who are, in a same-sex relationship, and you can just see they're like, finally, I have, a hero I can identify with that lives like I live, that I respect, that I can, I can find something that fits me, and
Right.
yeah, it's time.
And this isn't just about the sexual side of things. This is about cultivating relationships.
It's relationships, honestly, and for me, that's the crux of the whole thing. It doesn't matter if it's a Garrus or a Thane or a Liara. It's a relationship. It's a person that you love, or you are really connected to, or you're just trying not to get connected to. It's all it's all about the person, and the other stuff, the chemistry is what it is,
Right.
And that's all up to the artist. Yeah.
So keeping in with kind of this deep subject here, in the reinstated trailer, we saw some things that we've been seeing video games kind of go into now. There was a child that was put onto a spaceship, and that spaceship got shot down and destroyed. So you have this very emotional scene, kind of almost mimicking movies. How do you feel about video games kind of going in that direction with these really tough questions for the viewer?
Right.
It's really funny you would ask that, because I just have this feeling like, games and movies are starting to just go like this, and it's becoming more and more. It's becoming, yes, they're absolute games for playing and for the role playing and the combat and the whole thing, but they're also movies you get to participate in and guide and live in for hours and hours on end, and I think it's great. It's a brilliant way to take on that question. I'm on Twitter, and I was looking at some of the tweets tonight, and one of the guys out there, I think it's Mac Walters, I forget. He tweeted the question, is it art or entertainment? And I think that that's the same question you would ask about a movie.
Yeah,
I think there's art to it. I think it depends on your definition of art. To me, art is something that moves you. It's something that just transports you a bit. And I know I've been transported in the doing of this and in the experiencing of the writing and that sort of thing. Yeah.
The art side of it and merging together.
Well, and I was Dave Hayter is a friend of mine. He's a brilliant writer and a great voice actor and actor, period. And we were talking about this from time to time, as happens, and it's sort of the mythology of our generation. It's as he said, I'm terribly paraphrasing him, but he made that point that it is, it's the mythology and the cultural stories of our generation are coming out of these games and these sort of genres. It's so funny because Dave Hayter, we were talking about it, and this is after he wrote X-Men, and he was talking to a giant Hollywood producer about it, and he said, Metal Gear made $270-some million. Do you know what our lives and careers would look like if we were live action actors in a movie that made 200? I mean, and that's the thing. When I talked about movies and games starting to converge, I think that myself, Nolan North, all of us, we're sort of on the front lines, and I think sort of if we're version 1.0, version 2.5 is going to start to reap the salary benefits of what we have begun.
Well, like my thing is, like, when you look at a game, you don't see who the actor is.
They never promote it.
They don't promote Mark Meer and Jennifer Hale as the voices of, and that always kind of strikes me as weird. You don't see that.
Yeah, we had to.
You see the credits at the end of the game, but why not on the box art? Why is that?
Because games have always had the orientation that the gaming itself is the draw and not the story and the acting.
He is amazing.
He's hysterical too.
Speaking of funny, you worked with Mark Meer, who is we find hilarious.
That's the big secret about Bro Shep that nobody knows. He's a brilliant comedian and such a nice person. Right.
What was your experience like with him?
Oh, it was hilarious. I mean, we actually didn't meet till we went to a convention together. I think it was, where were we? I don't remember. I think it was Florida. And hysterical. Just such a nice person. And I don't know if he told you this, but he loves to do cosplay. He loves to dress up and go out to the costume parties. And he's amazing, the get-ups he gets going. Yeah, and then he was down here in L.A. for, I forget what, I think he was just visiting. And just so much fun. We had dinner actually with Caroline Livingstone, and it was just, Caroline Lawrence is an actress. We didn't have dinner. Livingstone and Meer and Hale had dinner, and it was really fun. Yeah.
Someone had asked him at MegaCon which Shepard, male and female Shepard had to fight, which Shepard would win.
Oh, really?
And he said that they would tear a hole in the universe, that there would probably be a tie.
But
I like that answer.
Well, he said that you could totally kick his ass in real life. So that's.
I like that answer, and I'm not going to argue with it. But he's such a nice guy, and he's funny. We need funny.